Hollywood actress Heather Locklear, who rose to fame in the 1990s, struggled with addiction, private turmoil, and difficult decisions. In the early 2000s, her career started to wane, and she was dealing with personal issues that would eventually have a negative impact on both her professional and personal lives. Locklear's personal struggles coupled with the demands of Hollywood created a maelstrom from which she was unable to escape. Her friends and family were powerless to stop her as she fell into a vicious cycle of drug misuse and mental health issues that required repeated admissions to rehab. By 2019, Locklear had checked himself into more than 20 treatment institutions, with each stay providing a glimmer of hope for a better outcome. Those who loved her were left in a condition of perpetual worry as a result of her repeated attempts to reclaim control of her life, which came at a financial and emotional cost. Locklear fought a war on her mental health that had been plaguing her for years in addition to her drugs and alcohol addiction. She admitted herself into the Arizona Treatment Center Sierra Tucson in 2008 to get therapy for depression and anxiety. She sought quiet during this time, but her public existence meant that she could not avoid the headlines despite the obvious weight of her challenges. Because of the demands of living in the spotlight, Locklear's every move was closely watched, and every mistake was amplified. The actress, who had previously been on red carpets and magazine covers, was now the focus of tabloid articles describing her downfall. Her battles with melancholy and anxiety were widely publicized, but the extent of her suffering was something she kept hidden from the outside world. Locklear also started to experience grief in his relationships. Her 1986 marriage to Tommy Lee, the drummer for Motley Crue, was widely reported, with fans fascinated by the outlandish combination of the Hollywood actress and the rock star. But there were problems in the marriage behind the surface. Locklear had hoped that her marriage to Lee would survive, but by 1993, they were no longer together. Locklear rekindled her love affair with Bon Jovi guitarist Richie Sambora shortly after her divorce from Lee. After getting married in 1994, the couple gave the impression of being the ideal Hollywood family for more than 10 years. But there were fissures developing behind the scenes. Remarkably, Locklear surprised even Sambora when he filed for divorce in 2006. By 2018, Locklear's problems had gotten out of hand, and it was revealed that she had turned down support from people closest to her, which had set off a terrible chain of events that had left her defenseless and alone. For those who loved her, knowing that Locklear herself had to make the decision was agonizing. There were times when the gloom that had engulfed her existence broke through. Locklear celebrated her first year of recovery in 2020 and shared the occasion with her Instagram fans. Today marks her 1-year sobriety. In her triumphal proclamation, she said that she was finally taking charge of her life. However, the road to recovery is never easy, and Locklear faced many obstacles that put her dedication to the test. Ava talked about her friendship with Heather Locklear in 2019 and expressed how much she loved and admired her mother. The actress had previously faced many obstacles in her life, so she was unprepared for the shock of a close friend's treachery. When Denise Richards started dating Locklear's ex-husband Richie Sambora, the once friendly woman in her life abruptly turned into a deeply painful person. Not only did Richards and Locklear have a close relationship through Hollywood's exclusive circles, but they were also neighbors and had a common friend in Charlie Sheen, who had collaborated extensively with Locklear on Spin City. It was evident that seeing a friend with her ex-husband took a toll on her emotions, to the point where the tension was enough to break the friendship. Locklear's personal life continued to descend into anarchy, and her volatile relationship with her high school sweetheart, Chris Heiser, whom she reconnected with years later, did not help. Following an incident at her Thousand Oaks, California, home in 2018, Locklear was taken into custody on accusations of domestic abuse. Her brother was forced to call the police due to the uncontrollable commotion that had developed. Heiser was arrested after Locklear physically attacked her in a fit of rage. Despite Locklear's claim of injury, the Ventura County Sheriff's Office, which was involved in the incident, observed that no visual symptoms of injuries were present. Many close to Locklear expressed concerns about her mental health and well-being following the shocking incident. Locklear and Heiser persevered in their relationship despite their tumultuous beginning, attempting to create stability from their turbulent history. Locklear's road to recovery was never easy, and her friends' and family support was invaluable during these trying times. Locklear's parents were a constant in her life, offering their full support to assist their daughter take back control. However, despite their steadfast support, Locklear was still susceptible to the downward spirals that seemed to seize hold of her whenever she looked to be recovering. Locklear was involved in a hit-and-run accident in April 2010, which generated headlines and contributed to the story of the once-loved actress whose life appeared to be falling apart. Her black BMW vehicle, which was still registered in her and her ex-husband Richie Sambora's names, was the subject of the incident. There had been some minor damage from the car's collision with a parking sign. Even while the accident was not serious, it garnered media attention, which Locklear probably found bothersome at a time when her life was already challenging. Locklear saw significant upheaval in his love life as well. One of the more well-known relationships she had was with Melrose Place co-star Jack Wagner. After years of acquaintance, their business partnership eventually developed into a love one. They were engaged and making plans for their future together by 2011. However, later that year, the couple called off their engagement due to the stress of wedding planning and worries about how their marriage would affect their kids. Ever the gentleman, Jack Wagner answered inquiries regarding Locklear with grace in an Entertainment Tonight interview in 2018. He said that obstacles are a part of life for everyone and that time will tell when you decide to overcome them. His remarks made him think of the struggles Locklear was still having while attempting to establish stability. Actress Heather Locklear, who is well known, has always supported and guided her daughter Ava throughout her life. Even though they live far apart, Locklear has always supported Ava, giving her consolation and advice when she needed it. The strong relationship between a mother and her daughter, developed through personal hardships, has given both women a source of resilience. The death of her father, Bill Locklear, was one of the most devastating experiences Heather Locklear has ever had to deal with. Her life has been full of highs and lows. Heather posted a touching homage to her father on Instagram on June 12, 2024, after receiving the tragic news. She referred to her father as the most brilliant man I have ever known. She talked about how proud she was to be her father's daughter and called him the love of her life. For Heather and her family, Bill Locklear's hospitalization earlier in February signaled a trying and stressful period. Those who knew Heather's family well knew the special affinity she shared with her father. With a heartfelt video ode to her father, Heather honored his 90th birthday in July 2019 and referred to him as her hero. In the video, Bill, the encouraging father, replied with a heartfelt remark that demonstrated their strong bond. Heather's life entered a new phase after her father passed away, one in which she had to face the loss of one of her most treasured relationships. Heather was grieving, but she took comfort in remembering her father's love and guidance. She had always found support from her father, especially when navigating the challenging terrain of her personal and professional challenges. Heather expressed her happiness in growing older as she approached her 60th birthday in 2021, a viewpoint she attributed to her parents' love and encouragement. In addition to reflecting on her career and the difficulties she encountered in Hollywood, Heather lamented the death of her father. Many saw Heather's part in the 2021 TV film Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, the Christine Carlson story, as an opportunity for a potential return, demonstrating her continued relevance. The way Heather Locklear overcame grief and persisted in pursuing her career is evidence of her tenacity. Despite all of the obstacles in her path, both personal and professional, she is unwavering in her resolve to keep going. Heather Locklear demonstrates that even in the face of tragic loss, there is still hope for a better future as she goes on to commemorate her father's legacy. So viewers, for the next update please subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.